Donald Trump's rally over the weekend at Madison Square Garden was a descent into raw fascism. I was there. Believe me when I tell you that as bad as it looked across social media, the reality was even worse.
No, they've done very bad things to this country. They are indeed the enemy from within. But this is who we're fighting. They're the enemy of the people, the press.
We need to slaughter this other people. We need to bring 100 million votes to Donald Trump.
Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico.
I had a sense leading up to the event that it was going to be bad. I submitted this report, which you may have seen on the Lincoln Project Town Hall, from outside the garden before the rally kicked off.
Direction at Madison Square Garden. Let's do this.
I'm standing in front of Madison Square Garden. There is a massive crowd of Trump supporters waiting to get in. And there is a palpable air of menace to this crowd. It is not a celebratory occasion. It just doesn't feel like it in the air.
Trump 2024. Let's fucking go.
There was a sea of signs behind us at one point that said, "Pardon Trump now." And I think that is part of the message tonight. This feels like a hedge from a campaign that is not confident of winning, that is afraid that if and when it loses, it will have to take its fight to the streets. It's not an accident that the last major rally of the Trump campaign is happening here at Madison Square Garden. Just Google Madison Square Garden 1939 and you'll appreciate the danger of that message. The groups that he is really talking to tonight, the Proud Boys, the Oath Keepers, they hear at a frequency most Americans don't. Frankly, most people in this crowd, I hope, don't. But they hear that message loud and clear. They will stand back and they will stand by and they will do Trump's bidding if and when they have to. One of the things that gives me some reassurance in moments like this, on days like this, is the fact that Americans are standing up to it. I'm at the designated protest area just outside Madison Square Garden with a group of veterans who are not taking this lying down. This protest is being organized by Veterans for Responsible Leadership and Common Defense. And these are people who understand what happened here in 1939, and they appreciate the gravity of having a commander-in-chief potentially with autocratic tendencies. The speaker behind me just talked about John Kelly going on the record saying that Donald Trump wished his generals were like Hitler's. That's what's at stake. And make no mistake, the choice of this venue on the final days of Trump's campaign is an intentional signal to the most extreme elements of his base to stand back and stand by should he need them in the event he loses.
Out of character for me to speak at a Nazi rally. I was just in Israel, but I took the gig.
After the rally began, I stood outside with the overflow crowd beneath the Jumbotron watching some of the most hateful speeches I have ever seen at a political rally. This was fascism on full display. You even had Stephen Miller channeling nearly word for word actual Nazi propaganda.
America is for Americans and Americans only.
Speaker after speaker took to the stage to do one thing: provoke Trump's most fanatical followers and demean everyone else.
This cool black guy with a thing on his head, what the hell is that, a lampshade? I'm just kidding, that's one of my buddies. He had a Halloween party last night. We had fun, we carved watermelons together. It was awesome.
She is some sick Hillary Clinton, huh? What a sick son of a The whole party, a bunch of degenerates.
She is the devil, whoever screamed that out. She is the Antichrist. It's going to be pretty hard to look at us and say, you know what? Kamala Harris, she got 85 million votes because she's just so impressive. as the first Samoan, Malaysian, low IQ, former California prosecutor ever to be elected president.
It's Ken Harbaugh. Need to take a quick break here because I wanted to let you know that I have finally decided to take the plunge and figure out social media. The Ken Harbaugh Show is now up on TikTok and Instagram and Reels and Threads. I've got a great team pulling all this content together. Please check out the links in the show notes and follow the Ken Harbaugh Show pretty much everywhere. Thanks, as always, for the amazing support. None of this would be happening without you. And then you had Trump himself, doubling down on describing fellow Americans as the enemy within.
I know many of them. It's just this amorphous group of people. But they're smart and they're vicious. And we have to defeat them. And when I say the enemy from within, the other side goes crazy, becomes a sound. Oh, how can he say? No, they've done very bad things to this country. They are indeed the enemy from within. But this is who we're fighting.
Don't ask me to explain why the people around Trump do what they do. I honestly cannot fathom the motivations of someone willing to sacrifice their own honor and integrity for a man like Trump. But for the audience that Trump and his acolytes is trying to reach, the rhetoric of people like Tucker Carlson and Stephen Miller seems to work. For me, that was the most depressing aspect of this entire saga.
I'm at Madison Square Garden right now. Overflow crowd. They locked the doors some time ago, and people are standing in the streets watching the Jumbotron. Tucker Carlson was just on stage, followed by Hulk Hogan. He made a comment about not seeing any Nazis in the crowd. I think the comparisons to 1939 have rattled them, but they are 100% accurate. My overriding feeling after today is one of deep sadness. The chants of USA from this crowd are not the kind that inspire patriotism. We're going to have a lot of healing to do as a country when Kamala Harris wins, and when we have to convince these people that she is indeed the legitimate president of the United States.
This is where we are today. Kamala Harris is going to win this election. We still have to work for it and work like everything is on the line. But we're going to pull this off. And then we'll have to convince tens of millions of Americans who have bought into the lie that is MAGA that we need to heal. I don't have an answer for that yet. I know we'll have to work together to find it. But for the next couple days, let's double down, do our part, and make sure a rally like this never happens again.